Gentlemen, welcome back to Project Squariel. Welcome back to the shop. It's been a little while since I've made an update video, so it's not that nothing has been happening. Actually quite a bit has been happening, but a lot of it is messy, piddly little stuff that's probably not very interesting for a video, so I haven't bothered filming it. Okay, let's kick off. So first of all, I want to have a shout out to one of our newer subscribers and probably one of our youngest subscribers, Henry from Kentucky. So good to have you on board, Henry. What do I know about Kentucky? Probably not very much. What springs to mind is moonshine, dodgy horse race trainers, some guy that made the world fat, the song Happy Birthday, I believe, came from Kentucky, and that I believe that the grass is blue, though yet to see it. Right, that done. What's been happening? Okay, you can see paint. So I've got my bits back from the painter, and I've just picked up the tank from having the pinstriping completed. I did that in the weekend. Absolutely over the moon happy with how that's come out. Right. You can see the guards are on, tank is on, I put the seat on, oil tank is on. On the other side you can't see, the toolbox is on. Kind of starting to look like a motorbike again. Still an awful lot of work to do, but it's good to have visible progress every now and again. A couple of things I want to do today. Actually, first of all, another update. One of the other things that's happened is I've rebuilt the rear wheel again. Now, those of you that have been following along and watched my video some time ago now on wheel building, I had a guy in Melbourne do the spokes for me, and he didn't send them as I asked, but he sent them how he thought was right. As it turned out, when I put the wheel in the frame, I could not get the offset right. It wouldn't come right. So the thing about motorbike wheels, if you fight them, it's not right. Push bike wheels, you've got a little bit of movement, you can get away with quite a bit. Car wheels, to be honest, I've done not too many. I've done a Jag, MG, some American cars with wires, and to be honest, they're a battle all the time. You've got to fight every millimetre with them, but motorbike wheels normally come together really well. The back wheel, I couldn't get the offset right. In the end, I had to buy a new set of spokes out of Devon in the UK. They send them in about 3 days flat. They're expensive, but they fitted, the wheel built up, and it is where it is. So a big FU for Lightfoot wheels in Melbourne. Right, that gripe out of the way. Painting's back, as I've said. Pinstriping is absolutely amazing, so shout out to Sam, the pinstriping man. Normally he does big rig trucks and stuff, and he's meant to be like Australia's best pinstriper, and I quite believe it. So he does do a few bike tanks, and he was happy enough to do mine. Other jobs, the seat. So I started mounting the seat. One thing I found, it's a repo seat of the original design, and it did not fit. Now, I don't think that is a reflection on it being a reproduction seat. I think it is a reflection on the old seat brackets were stuffed with by experts, and they were changed and altered to fit. I think it was a BSA seat that was on it. I'm not too sure. So I had a choice. I could spend £20 and wait another month to get another bracket out of the UK, or I decided it's just as easy to fix the brackets that were on there now. You'll also notice another, I guess, the elephant in the room, or more importantly the elephant that is not in the room. So of course the engine is not complete. As you know from previous videos, the bottom end is all complete, but still no sign of my back-ordered engine valve, so it's kind of the last thing I need to get this thing going again, actually, to be honest. Okay, the seat. So the seat, I had to modify the front mount to make it fit, and the back mount I've built a couple of spaces. I'm going to drill those out, weld bolts coming from the upside down, and bolt them on underneath like that. So that's the job for this morning. While I've got that off, put on here. While I've got the seat off, one of the other jobs I want to start today is wiring. So I've got a wiring loom out of Dragonfly in the UK, which is pretty much where everything is coming from these days. Plenty of comment on the internet about repro wiring looms, so this is actually the first thing I brought for the restoration. So this wiring loom is, it will never catch up with the age of the bike, but it's probably older than I'd prefer, given it's been sitting in really inhospitable conditions for the last 6 years or so. So we'll figure out where that goes. Thankfully, being the old bike that it is, there's not too many wires in it. Not like a modern car or anything. So we'll lay him out. It's all the old traditional cloth covered over modern wires. So pretty happy with that. So get that wired up, we'll get it started. There's a sub loom for the headlights, which I've got to figure out where that goes. What else is on the wiring? Oh, headlamp cowl. So I'm probably going to run out of time today, but if I don't, one of the other things that I want to do is finish the nacelle, finishing the gauge cluster, put them on and mount that. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll see that mounted. So I'm not going to do a lot of video of me doing stuff, frankly, because the stuff today is all tedious and frankly a bit boring. So we'll cut back in near the end of the day and see what sort of progress I've made. Right, welcome back. It's been a couple of days since I started this video. It might look like not much has happened, and it might even look like I've gone backwards quite a bit, but I've actually ticked off quite a few little jobs and started one large one. I've spent several nights, which was a bit frustrating, so turned into a couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon, which was kind of wasted good daylight hours, but it made the job a lot easier in figuring out wiring looms. So with the help of that wiring diagram, that multimeter, and those wires, I've run through and I've figured out where pretty much all of them go, and I've labelled them accordingly. So I'm going to take the seat off next, and I'm going to fit the wiring loom in place and start putting some wires together. A couple of other jobs I've done. You can't see it on this side, but I'll put some photos in. I've mounted the rear brake cable. I've mounted the switch for the brake light. I've mounted the remote oil filter that I'm going to fit. It's not original equipment, but for keeping the motor alive for a lot longer, it's a very good thing to fit. And I've mounted the gauges into the dash, and I've mounted the nacelle. Now that turned into a mission. We'll just turn it around a little bit. Not dropping the wires too much. Come on, you. I've made a couple of modifications to the bike, and frankly, in hindsight, I probably should have left everything absolutely stock and modified things later on, because everything I've modified for what I thought was a better has cost me a lot of time and aggravation. One thing was putting taper roller bearings in the wheels. Front was okay. Rear, I end up having to make a new spacer in the rear hub. Took me ages to figure out why the wheel wouldn't quite fit properly, and even longer to get a hold of a lathe to spend 15 minutes turning up a little spacer. The other one I've just come to find, I've put tapered rollers in the headstock away from the loose balls. When I went to fit the nacelle, it wouldn't fit. It was about half a hole out everywhere. I had the whole front end apart, had the forks apart again. It took me ages to figure out the obvious, and the obvious was that the height of the bearings is spaced the triple tree out a bit further, so the distance between the bolt holes was a little bit out. It took me quite a while, but eventually I was in a position where I was able to fit the nacelle. Bolts aren't on just at the moment because I'm doing the wiring on the dash. I need to put the wires in, hook that on, and that'll be a job done. There's another one I'm not going to film because filming wiring is about as uninteresting as you can possibly get. So I'll cut back in a little bit. I'll take the seat back off to make life a little bit easier for me. The main thing I want to get done today is get the wires up and the dash done, and then I can fit the nacelle properly and get the handlebars back on. Right, time to wrap this video up. It's been probably a week and a half maybe since I started this video, and I figure if I don't stop now, you'll never get to see it. Like all jobs on this project and probably lots of other projects, everything has taken way longer. Nothing has been straightforward, and I've learned quite a bit. The majority of my time has been on the wiring. Wiring is always a bit of a head scratchy, you have to take your time job. I've put the bike is getting indicators on it, which it never had originally, so I've had to do some additional wiring. And up on the handlebars, I've put an indicator switch. I've also wired in the high-low beam and the horn. Massive amount of work for not a lot of visible gain in doing that. Just, it seems like a big old bike with a ton of room, but as it turned out, there's not a lot of room anywhere on it. Running the wires through the bars, we got there, but it was very time consuming to do that. The bar's been on and off about 15 times in the nacelle and dash apart. Good news is, save for a couple of screws on the top of the nacelle to hold the dash in. The nacelle should be on for the last time now, handlebars should be on for the last time now. I put bar end rubbers on to make it look like it's more complete than what it is. All the rest of the wiring that needs to go somewhere has been tagged. I've wired up the bits that I can. Just basically the horn, I've run the wires for the lights, ammetter's wired, speedo's not wired yet, but the wires are there for it. I need to... So Australian regulations, you have to have the headlight running all the time, so the pilot light, headlight switch is really pointless on this, so it's there for show. I'm going to bypass it. I just haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet. So that'll come to me, I'm sure. Once you get a headlight, get that in place, I'll sort of figure out how much more room I've got. Also got to find somewhere to mount the turn signal flasher unit. I had an idea of where I was going to fit it, but as it turned out it wouldn't fit there, so right now, I don't know, could be anywhere, might even end up under the seat or something. Other jobs I've done, I've gone all Project Binky again and had to make another bracket, and I've mounted the coil because the coil that's going on there is a small form factor Triumph unit. It didn't fit on the original bracket, so I had to make a new bracket for that, fit around the frame. Again, everything just takes time. So that's located. All the wiring for the back end of the bike is in place and labelled. I'm not going to run it properly till I get the engine in place, just in case. The other job I've done is, you probably can't really see it, underneath the gearbox. I've done a remote mounted oil filter aftermarket one, I mentioned that earlier, so I've run the return line for that. It's just no reason to do it at this stage, but no reason not to do it at this stage. It's another little job ticked off. It may end up not remaining there, but for now it looks the part, and that's another job done. Right, that'll wrap up this video. Between now and the next one, it's going to be more wiring, just tinkering away, terminating ends and getting that wiring complete. And waiting for that ever elusive email from Dragonfly saying that my valves are off back order, and then I can get really excited. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Please do like, subscribe. I've picked up a number of new subscribers of late, which is really cool, and I thank you very, very much for following my journey. And that is about it. One day, hopefully, this year, we will get this thing going. And just a little pan onto that tank again, because, man, I love that paint job on that tank. Right, thank you very much. Later.